Good afternoon, great to see you again. Hope you've had a fantastic summer. We're all set to go for another season of Scottish football here on BT Sport with 40 more games from the SPFL. We've got the playoffs as well, and as we're the new home of the Champions League and the Europa League, it means that this season is going to be very busy indeed. And we kick things off in style here in Edinburgh. We're at Tynecastle to see Hearts return to the top flight. This place is packed full of anticipation with over 14,000 season tickets already sold. Gorgie will be rocking throughout the campaign. It's good to have the Jambos back. Their first test though was tough. St Johnstone are the visitors, a mainstay in the top 6 these last few years. On Flag Day here, it's Hearts v the Saints and kick-off is 12:30. It is going to be very lively here indeed today. We're going to try and keep things lively throughout the whole season as well, with plenty of people to talk to, plenty of strong opinions as well. These men are charged with that today. Paul Hartley's here, the man of the moment. What a start for his Dundee team yesterday. Stephen Craigan and Chris Sutton are going to be part of the team as well this season. But 4-0 on opening day.
Yeah, great start to the season. You just want points on the board as early as you can, but the performance was perfect yesterday. From start to finish we dominated the game, and I was delighted with the players.
We'll look at all those goals shortly, but today it's really all about the Jambos. It's a fantastic day for all their supporters, and you having played here on some of the biggest occasions before, I guess you can sense the enthusiasm again, can you?
Yeah, and they're back in the Premiership where they want to be. A full house here, and it's a terrific atmosphere, and the crowd will get right behind them, but they're playing a very good St Johnstone team today.
How much better do you think this top flight is, Chris, with Hearts back in it?
Well, quite simply, it's a much better league this season. They were scintillating last season, swatted aside the likes of Hibs and Rangers. I know you actually said earlier that you fancied Hearts would win the league, but nobody heard you say that. So, but big season for them. But as Paul quite rightly said, St Johnstone is a tough test for them today.
I did indeed say that only last season. They've signed lots of new players, Hearts, and I guess all the fans are just desperate to know how they're all going to settle in. A few playing today, 3 new signings in the team.
Well, that's what the fans like about the close season. Players come in from nowhere. Sometimes it's a new style of play. But for Robbie, it's probably just continuing what he set up. I know he's standing behind us ready to talk to us, but he'll just want to continue the good work. His team have set a standard. They have to try and maintain it. Can they maintain it at the higher levels? That's a big question for me.
We're going to find out. Let's bring Robbie in now. Good to see you again. Thank you very much for joining us ahead of the game. Can you just sense the desire in the dressing room from the players before they went out to warm up on this big day?
Yeah, it's going to be a great atmosphere here today, but it's important to get 3 points. That's the most important thing for us. We'll try and put the atmosphere to the side and all the rigmarole before it with the flag. Great for the fans, great for the club, but as players and staff, we just want to win the game.
And I know you had a cup game just a few days ago, but this feels a little bit different today, back in the Premiership.
Yeah, this is what we've been gearing up for all pre-season. To get back here and play in a league and try and do well and pick up 3 points. It's been a tough game against a really strong St Johnstone team, but we're hopeful we can do enough to get the 3 points.
You made a few signings during the summer as well, 3 of which are straight into your team today. But as we kick things off, do you feel that it's business well done? You've done the business you wanted to do?
Yeah, I'm really pleased with the players we've got in. They've definitely raised the standard of the club. Good characters, but first and foremost good players. So I think today we'll see them. They're not quite 100% fit yet, with a few niggly injuries at pre-season, but they should be good enough to get us the 3 points.
Augustine in the team today, Igor Rossi as well, and Wanma up top, as you said. Maybe a little bit of risk playing them all in if they're not 100%, but they'll be raring to go, won't they?
Yeah, they're desperate to play. We were gearing up for the St Johnstone game right from the start of the season. We used the pre-season games as a build-up with a couple of injuries. We had to rest them, but we could have probably played them Thursday night against Arbroath, but I decided to leave them to make sure they're ready for this one.
And a tough test, I guess you're expecting. St Johnstone, who they know all about the top flight. They've done well in it the last few years.
Yeah, they're a really good team. Qualified for Europe the last 3 occasions, won the Scottish Cup, a lot of experienced players. So Tommy Wright, an experienced manager as well, coming here, they'll be looking to stifle us, try to turn the atmosphere on us, so it's up to us to try and win the game.
I'll let you get back to all your pre-game preparations. All the very best this season. Thank you, Robbie. Right, let's get back to the guys then and look through all the games from yesterday, all the goals to come. We'll start with Celtic because they unfurled their Premiership Championship flag yesterday, and always a great day for the supporters. And what they really want though, Chris, is the 3 points. They did that with relative ease, would you say?
Yes, I think so. But I think it's a good time to play Celtic while they're involved in European competition. That's a stonewall penalty. The defender gets the wrong side and Griffiths slots us in. It's a bit of a worry that Griffiths limped off, with the midweek game coming up against Qarabag. But it was comfortable for Celtic. There was a hairy moment or two with the Craig Gordon incident, which we'll see in a moment, but it's 3 points, it's job done.
Yeah, we're expecting Griffiths to be absolutely fine for Wednesday, by the way. This is the big talking point though, Chris. Should it have been a red card, or did the referee get it right?
I think the best way to put it is if that decision was the other way round, would the Celtic fans you know, have been happy with that. It was a red card for me, albeit I can see why the referee didn't give it.
Stefan Johansson then rounded it off, made it 2-0. Ross County played very well on the day, but no doubt after the game, Stephen, everyone was talking about the Craig Gordon incident. What was your take on it?
Well, it was a pivotal moment in the game, Dal, because it was 1-0 to Celtic, you know, and when Jackson Irvine broke free and he got beyond the Celtic defence and he got towards the goalkeeper, I think when we see it here, when it's paused, Jackson Irvine, if he hasn't touched by Craig Gordon, he rolls the ball into an empty net. So all this, you know, situation, is it a clear goal scoring opportunity? From this angle, it absolutely is. Again, the referee's tough, he has to make a quick decision, but that has to be right. It has to be the right decision. It has to be a red card. For Ross County, it wasn't.
It's a big call, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a big moment in the game if Craig Gordon gets sent off, but you know, I think Irvine goes round him and he'll put it into the empty net. I think it's Van Dijk is trying to get on the cover. I think it was a tough one, to be honest with you.
Jim McIntyre was absolutely furious about that after the game. Chris, I know you're ready to go up to your co-commentary position. You're behind the mic today. I'm going to let you go in just a second. All the best for that. But now let's have a look at Paul Hartley's men then. As I said, he's almost walking on air at the moment, aren't you? Because 4-0 on opening day away to Kilmarnock. It's quite some start.
I mean, it was a dream day for us. I mean, the first period of the game, first 20 minutes, half hour, we created a number of chances, and you always have a little bit of a worry if you don't put them in the net. But I mean, our overall play was fantastic. The first goal with Stewart, outstanding, great finish, good composure. Second goal with Holt, crosses it for Loy, great movement.
So many of your new signings involved.
Yeah, I mean, we went attack-minded yesterday, but I was really pleased in terms of the organisation, the discipline of the team. But the work rate was terrific, and our football at times was scintillating.
And I think you said after just 37 more games to go, top of the league.
It's just a good start for us. I think that's the main thing, is to get off to get points on the board early, and it gives you confidence. And you know, we've got a tough game next week against Hearts.
You made all those signings early as well in the summer, most of them. Has that really helped, do you think, get you going?
Yeah, they've been with us since day one. First day back, 1st of July. We've worked them really hard. We've organised them, and they've been terrific so far. But it's just been a good start for us, that's all.
Job well done so far. What about Inverness then? Such a great season last year round. They had Motherwell on opening day. Stephen, you were at that game, and it's a great victory for Ian Barraclough, isn't it?
Well, everybody wants to get off to the perfect start, Dal. Everybody wants to, you know, try and get points on the board, as Paul says. You know, everybody works hard in pre-season, but Wes Fletcher's done really well. You know, brought him up from York City, Ian Barraclough did. He scored 2 goals in pre-season that were up, you know, both tap-ins. He's got another one, and then Marvin Johnson, Motherwell have got a match winner. You know, he can drive at people, he can commit people. We've seen him in the playoffs last year against Rangers, caused all sorts of problems. I think Motherwell probably deserved to win by 2 or 3 goals, Darryl. You know, the way they played the game, the chances it created, Danny Devine giving away a penalty kick. And you know, this was after 20 minutes. If Scott McDonald scores this, it probably puts the game to bed. But you know, I think John Hughes admitted after his team lacked a little bit of cutting edge, and Motherwell probably edged it.
Great 3 points for Ian Barraclough, that's for sure. Hamilton were playing Partick Thistle as well. It ended up 0-0 yesterday. Plenty of goalmouth action and an early red card as well. 2 yellows, in fact, for Freddie Franz. And after 25 minutes, a manager just must be demented by this. Paul.
You work all pre-season or all week, you set your team up, and then the game plan goes out the window. But I think Alan will be happy with a point there. I think it's really harsh to sending off, to be quite honest with you. I think nowadays you're not allowed to tackle, and it's just a lazy leg that he's stuck out, and I think he's really harsh here.
I think the referees have to go into the game trying to maintain 11v11, Darryl. You know, worst case scenario, if it's a dangerous tackle, then yes, but you know, Martin Canning will be hugely disappointed, you know, because from that moment on, he dominated the ball, he dominated the play. Thomas Cherney, great save
against his old team. He was inspired.
Yeah, you know, an ex-Hamilton goalkeeper. But when you have moments like this in the season, when you have an extra man and you create your chances, that's when you have to be ruthless. You know, I'm sure that's something Martin will be trying to drill into his players.
Greg Docherty hit the post late on. They just couldn't find a way through. Alan Archibald, though, will be disappointed maybe about the decision to send this player off, but he'll be delighted with the point.
To be fair, Hamilton's a tough place to go and get a result. You seen that last season, the way they started. You know, they had a bad finish to the season, but it's a tough venue to go. I think Alan will be delighted with a point after going down to 10 men.
I know it's only day one relay games played, but let's have a look at the Ladbrokes Premiership then. Only to keep Paul happy, why not? Because that looks awfully good, doesn't it? Dundee are top of the pile, and 4 goals to the good as well. Great start for them. The champions there in second place. Right, up next, our focus will be back on this game at Tynecastle. We'll take a closer look at both of the teams, and then the fanfare will begin. The championship flag will be unfurled and raised. We'll see you shortly for that. It's about to get very loud inside Tynecastle. We're here on Flag Day, marking the return to the top flight for Hearts as they take on St Johnstone. Every seat in the house available to the Jambos fans was snapped up. These are the team news headlines then. Hearts have 3 new signings in their side, including striker Wanma, who arrived from Greek club Kaloni. In defence, Blaise Augustin makes his debut. He played in Poland last year. Igor Rossi also starts today. For the Saints, 4 new signings start, including Brad Mackay, who faces his old team, having just left Tynecastle. John Sutton was also once a Jambo. He makes his league debut for St Johnstone, desperate for him to find goals this season. Liam Craig and Joe Shaughnessy are also in from the start for Tommy Wright's team. We'll chat to these guys again in just a minute. Let's hear from the St Johnstone manager now, though. He's with Derek Ray.
Tommy, good to see you. The injury situation hasn't been too kind to you so far this summer. What went through your mind in coming up with a team for this game here at Tynecastle?
Well, we were fortunate that Simon Lappin's come back fit as well. It gives us another option in midfield. But you're right, we've picked up a few injuries, but I think we've got a good strong team out today. And looking forward to the game.
If you look at your form last season, you rightly received plaudits for your defensive work. Is one of the keys this season to be a bit more expansive going forward?
Well, I think there's different ways to win football games, and we proved last year that you can be successful. We're being well organised and give away few goals, but that is one area that we want to try and improve on because we can't rely on the defence all the time. So we brought in John Sutton and we brought in Graham Cummings. So hopefully they can give us goals this season, and we've got players like David Witherspoon and Liam Craig back in the squad as well. I think Liam can be a big contributor in terms of goals, but I do feel that we have goals in the team, but it's up to us to go out and do it.
And just briefly, the start of this game could be very important with Hearts backed by this large crowd.
Yeah, I think there's a huge expectation level today, and it's up for us to make sure that we get a good start. And we're coming here to win the game, but it's important that I feel that we don't concede a goal early, because I think that would give them a massive lift. And obviously, you're right with the crowd behind them, so we're looking for a positive start right from the first whistle.
Good luck, Tommy.
Thanks, Derek.
They continue to punch above their weight every season, St Johnstone, it seems. But Tommy Wright says this is their toughest yet. Would you agree?
I think probably because the rest of the teams have brought players in and they're much stronger than they were last year. But they always do brilliant. Top 6, Europe, Scottish Cup. And I think they'll have another great season again.
When you look at the new signings they've added a few players. They needed to replace some of the men that were leaving. I think the important thing is some experience has arrived. Players like Liam Craig returning to the club, John Sutton on that list, Graham Cummings, another option up top. But they'll be desperate to find a goal scorer who can get maybe 15, 20 goals. Young Chris Kane did well towards the end of last season. But do you think John Sutton can make the difference, Stephen?
Well, John's got 35 goals over the last 2 seasons at Motherwell, Darryl. But when you've John on your side, you have to give him supply. And I think Tommy mentioned that. There has to be crosses coming in from the wide area. John's not going to run away from people with the ball over the top. So when the ball gets in the wide areas, even set plays, Liam Craig's good in set plays, Simon Lappin's got a great left foot, David Witherspoon has got great delivery, from open play as well. So they have to try and do that without being direct, without just lumping the ball into the box. It has to be a little bit more structured and cultured. But when you've John on your side, you have to give him supply. He will get goals, but he also needs support and runners from midfield too.
Tommy Wright was busy, but as you heard from Robbie Nielsen earlier on, he was busy this summer too. They've added a few new players. Fans desperate to see them all in action. 3 start today, including Augustine, Wanma and Rossi. The other signings, Gavin Riley, who came in from Queen of the South, and Juwon Oshiniwa has finally arrived as well. Visa problems, he was stuck in Nigeria. The left back, the Nigerian international, has arrived. But the centre of defence is probably the focus for many of the fans, because Danny Wilson left, so Blaise Augustin comes in. They'll want him to start very fast.
I think what you notice about Hearts, that the back four, they've got good tight there, and the rest of the team, they've brought big players in, so maybe they've seen that was a problem last year. I've seen them midweek and I've seen them against Everton, and they like to play good football. I think they've went a different policy this year in terms of their signings. They went foreign instead of British.
Alan Ozturk as well will be a mainstay in the team, especially because he got the captaincy. What did you make of that decision?
Well, I wouldn't say it's a gamble by Robbie Nielsen, but he obviously knows his character. He knows he can take it on board. He's enjoyed playing here. He thrived in the Championship last year. But it'll be interesting to step up this year, playing against guys like John Sutton, probably more physically imposing than what players were in the Championship. So it's going to be a different test. But Robbie's obviously got full trust in him that he can go and lead the team. But I think Hearts in general are a big, physical, imposing team, exactly what Paul said. They'll be dangerous from set plays. Yes, they want to play. But just looking at the new signings, Robbie's gone for physical strength.
Expectations, of course, are very high. The owner says, just get into the top 6 on your return to the top flight. You manage that.
It's easy.
Yeah.
No, but look, when you come up, you want to try and stabilise the club. Want to stay in the league, but I think everybody wants to try and get in the top 6. That's where we want to be, and I'm sure Hearts have got a strong squad this year.
Okay, soon the pleasantries will be all over here, and then it's down to business, the business of unfurling the championship flag after storming the second tier last season.
Just cannot stop winning. Listen to the Gorgie roar. There was a moment of inspiration. Jason Hall for Hearts. Jamie Walker. Exquisite. Heart of Midlothian, title winners.
It's flag day at Tynecastle. We're looking forward to Hearts against St Johnstone. Paul Hartley and Stephen Craigan are with me pitchside. Paul, it's a massive day for everyone involved, and the atmosphere is just building nicely, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's a full house here. It's terrific. They get right behind the team, but it can have an adverse effect on you also if you're not playing well. And St Johnstone will maybe try and use that to their advantage today.
St Johnstone, of course, they should be tested. They've also got a young back four. There's some key men are out injured, Stephen Anderson and Dave Mackay.
Well, it's a big day for Brad Mackay coming back to his old club. He hasn't played a lot of first team football. Joe Shogness as well couldn't establish himself at Aberdeen. This is going to be a big test, a big environment. Can they cope?
We're really looking forward to it. So over to your match commentators, Chris Sutton and Derek Ray.
Thank you very much, Darryl. Good afternoon, everyone. August, a month for looking forward. That buzz of anticipation coursing through the veins. But for Hearts fans, it's also about looking back, reflecting, remembering, appreciating what they have before they take on an able St Johnstone team. Something of a manager's convention in the main stand here at Tynecastle. No great surprise, everyone keen to take in the action. Well, make no mistake, Hearts were dragged through the ringer for a year or two. The faithful left to wonder and worry about the club's very existence. Relegation was painful, but necessary as part of the healing process, as it ushered in a shimmering dawn. Dynamic off-the-pitch leadership, married to fully fledged supporter participation. And the fact is, on the pitch, Hearts were royal miles ahead of the championship chasers, and so a swift return to the top table of Scottish football was duly delivered. 91 points, a second-tier record, and the title clinched with fully 7 games to go. Hearts very much alive and beating. It's not quite a sellout. Capacity here 16,000. It's not so very far away from that. Of course, at Johnston, it's been a bit like 2 distinct pre-seasons, one ahead of the ultimately ill-fated venture into Europa League qualifying, and then the preparation for the week-to-week business of points gathering in the Ladbrokes Premiership. In a matter of minutes, it will be for real. A special day then at Tynecastle. Alim Öztürk, the new captain of Heart of Midlothian, leads out the side. It's not lost on these supporters what they achieved last time round. Now, how will they adapt to life in the Premiership? And Robbie Nielsen, the Hearts head coach, just the third Hearts boss to guide the club back to the top division a year on from relegation, following in the footsteps of Willie Ormond in 1978 and Bobby Moncur in 1980. And Budge, the chairwoman and CEO of Heart of Midlothian, needless to say, very popular in these parts. And Neil Doncaster there, the chief executive of the SPFL, in position for the unfurling ceremony.
Now, we need your help. It's been 35 years since we did this.
And the countdown is very much on.
From 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do it, man!
There we have it. Flag Day in Gorgie. One of the best known songs in Scottish football, and so many joining in, as they tend to do at Tynecastle.